Hello viewers, welcome back to another episode on the channel Social Work Simplified. In today's section, we are going to add more context to the discipline of social work. To truly understand the discipline of social work, we need to know where the profession stems from, because no profession exists in vacuum. Social work practice has a deep historical root, and this root continues to shape us today. The history and development of the olden days social work practice has a direct link to the present day social work practice. Now, this session is going to be a very interesting session. Trust me. Sit back, grab a cup of water, and be poised for action. Now, let's look at the emergence of urban areas and its relationship to the development of social work practice. The history and development of urban areas and cities is to a large extent linked to the history of social work practice. Most societies have developed from the hunting and gathering societies through horticultural, agrarian, and industrial societies. The discussion of these evolutions will help us understand or enhance our understanding on the development of social work practice in getting to know how urban settlements emerge. That is, giving us an understanding on the emergence of societies in social work practice. Now let's delve into them to talk about these societies one after the other to get a comprehensive understanding of what entails at each societies. The first society in the evolution of societies is the hunting and gathering society. This society is the first pre-industrial society, and it was characterized by a high reliance on readily available foods. At the hunting and gathering society too, there were minimal technology, and there were a small group with little or no division of labors. That is nuclear group or nuclear family. So the man and the woman, or the husband and the wife. So the men were hunters and the women were the primary gatherers. So as men were doing the hunting, the women were gathering the fruits from the mangoes. So there can be a mango tree. So when it plucks itself on the ground, the women will go and do the gathering, whereas the men also go on the field to do the hunting. And sometimes the hunting becomes unsuccessful. It's not all the time that they are successful in their hunting. So, and at the hunting and gathering stage too, kinship ties was the source of authority. And also there were little inequality at the hunting and gathering stage. So this is just a brief about the first evolution of society, that is the hunting and gathering society. Now, the second evolution of societies is called the horticultural society. Now, this society emerged about 10,000 years ago. Now, at this horticultural society, they were doing planting more than the gathering. So they were planting more foods rather than doing the gathering. This because population began to increase at the horticultural societies due to reproduction. Now, it was no longer the man and the woman or the husband and wife. Due to reproduction, they were having children. Now, the hunting and gathering was no longer sufficient for them. So they were planting more foods other than doing the hunting and gathering. So they were doing what we call the subsistence farming, where they were planting food at the backyard of their houses. Now, at this stage too, as I said, population began to increase. Through this society, that's the horticultural society, it brought about several effects, which most of them were positive. Now, through the horticultural society, we had the emergence of community. So community emerged at the horticultural society, and also at the horticultural stage too, families was brought under clans and lineages. So bringing families into clans and lineages also occurred at the horticultural societies. And in the end, we also had the introduction of religion. So religion also became universal So all these are some of the effects of the horticultural societies. So they were doing more planting of food other than the garden because of reproduction. Now, due to reproduction, the hunting and gathering was no longer sufficient for them. So they were doing what we call the subsistence farming or the backyard farming, where they were planting some food crops to support their family. Because now the family have moved on from the father and mother to father, mother, and let's say 2 or 3 children. Now, through that, we had the emergence of society and also the emergence of clans and lineages. So all these were under the horticultural societies. So these were some of the key ingredients or the key elements that emerged under the horticultural societies. The third evolution of societies is called the Agrarian society. This society emerged about 5,000 years ago. At this Agrarian society, the use of improved technology like plough was introduced there to help boost production. Now, previously at the horticultural stage and also the hunting and gathering stage, they were using hoes and cutlasses to do their farming. And you see, if you use a hoe and a cutlass on your farm, the production becomes small. But then at the Agrarian society, there was an improved technology like the plough to help do a large-scale farm, to help improve production. At the Agrarian stage too, there was also specialization. So specialization also began at the Agrarian stage. Specialization like blacksmiths and also fish net repairers. So we have people who were doing blacksmiths, doing hoes and cutlasses, tools for farming, and also we have those that were repairing the nets of the fishermen. When they go for fishing and the net breaks or it breaks, they have people who have specialized in repairing these nets to make sure that they can also use in their next hunt. Now, at the Agrarian stage too, introduction of markets as the mechanism of food production or distribution was also one key thing there. So at the Agrarian stage, market was also introduced as a mechanism of food distribution. Now finally, money was also introduced at the Agrarian stage. So money and credit was introduced at the Agrarian society. So these elements are the key elements that was introduced at the Agrarian society. We had improved technologies like ploughs. We also have specialization like the blacksmiths, the fish net repairers, and also we had the introduction of markets as the means or the mechanism for the distribution of foods, and also the introduction of money and credit as a means of transaction. So these are the elements that characterize the Agrarian societies. The final evolution of societies is called the Industrial Revolution. Now this society is characterized by urbanization and also the use of technology. So advanced forms of technologies were utilized at the Industrial Revolution for making bulk industrial productions. And also at this stage too, we have the emergence of capitalism. Yes, so capitalism was created at the Industrial Revolution, and also we had the emergence of the working class. So all these come together to make up the Industrial Revolution. Also at the Industrial Revolution phase 2, we had changes in social organization. That is from a change from the smaller societies to complex societies. So all these come together to form the Industrial Revolutions. So I made mention of urbanization. Yes, so people were moving from the rural areas to the urban areas in search for industry jobs, because at that phase or at that stage they were having large companies and they were employment opportunities for people to do. So people were moving from the rural areas to come to the urban areas in search for greener pastures. So this characterized the Industrial Revolutions. Now these changes in societies created several problems such as urban poverty, disintegration of family as a social unit, unemployment, prostitution, destitute, and so on and so forth. Another problem is also individualism. So the changes or the evolution of societies created all these issues, and now this issue attracted some intellectuals to come in and address them. And these intellectuals came in the form of early welfare organizations such as the charity organization societies, the New York Society for the Prevention of Pauperism, the National Conference for Charities and Corrections, and also the Settlement House movement. All these are all early welfare organizations that came in to address the problems that the evolution of societies brought about. And these problems, as I said, it includes urban poverty, disintegration of family as a social unit, unemployment, crime rates, and also housing problems. So the evolution of societies brought about all these problems, and these problems attracted some intellectuals to come in and address them. And these intellectuals came in the form of early welfare organizations. I've already mentioned some. We have the charity organization societies, the Settlement House movement, the New York Society for the Prevention of Pauperism. All these are all early welfare organizations that came in to address this issue that evolution of societies brought about. Now, in our next episode, we will delve into each one of these early welfare organizations to know their key or central role that they played in addressing these problems that the evolution of society brought about. In this regard, you can kindly subscribe to our channel, you can kindly share, like, and comment at the comment section for us to address all your comments in our next episode. Bye bye.